Just Baseball show for Friday, August 8th, and we've got Marlins catcher slash first baseman slash DH slash Rule 5 pick Liam Hicks joining the program. So we're going to talk to Hicks in a little bit, but do want to walk you through a quick weekend preview and talk about Gavin Williams' near no-hitter in Queens on Wednesday. Just Baseball show, as always, brought to you by the fine folks at BetMGM alongside Aram. I'm Jack. I want to start with Gavin Williams here because this guy was nails on Wednesday afternoon. You guys recorded the mailbag, I think, while this was going on. I watched the last 2.5 innings of Gavin Williams in the booth. And, dude, okay, Soto took him 420 dead center in the ninth with one out. That sucked. Isn't this what we've been promised from him for the last, 2 years?
Yeah, I think so, and I think a big part of it was getting healthy. He was dealing with some arm issues a little bit over the last year or so. I think that were kind of creating velocity fluctuations, and then I think when he came back, then he got the velo back a little bit more. The shapes weren't all the way there. Feels like he's been that guy, and I think he's also managed now being effectively wild, where he's not going to drill his spots. But I thought that was a perfect example here, where he can be around the zone enough and then use that almost to his advantage, where he goes 8 2/3. He walks four,
Yeah.
but he struck out six and allowed just the one hit. You look at his last six starts, it is an 11% walk rate, but it's a 1.63 ERA. So I think he's a guy that's going to be able to skirt around that, fringy command with an assortment of pitches and a fastball now that's back up to, the upper 90s and playing like we know it can.
So at a certain point of the upper minors, Gavin Williams was consistently hitting 100. I think he caught a couple 101s as well. And it did kind of feel like it was perfectly executed on the outer half to righties all the time. Like if he had a heat map in AAA and AA, it was just going to be lining the outside rail of the strike zone against righties. But honestly, it didn't feel like the stuff was awesome. It just felt like the stuff was really hard.
Yeah.
And now it's like, am I crazy to say the movement profile on pretty much everything is better than what we saw when he was a prospect?
I don't think it's crazy at all because I think you have a little bit more life on the heater. He's throwing this 92 mile an hour cutter that it just is a different wrinkle with the way that he's able to weaponize that now. And then he's got this curveball it's like a power curve at 82 and then a slider at 86. I mean, these are four distinct velocities, right? Like that, none of these are blending together. And I think that's been a huge part of it too, where you got to really be worried about covering four different pitches at four different velocities, four different shapes. And I think that's the recipe to be able to throw like a no hitter or take one really deep is hitters can't really play the elimination game with you.
I'm looking at this rotation, and obviously, I ID'd Gavin Williams as the X factor for the Guardians going into this year. It's like, okay, they need another frontline guy to go along with Bybee. And I know the season has not gone the way that Bybee would want it to go from an ERA perspective, but it does feel like they have two horses to ride moving forward. And unfortunately, it looks a hell of a lot different than it did 2 years ago when both those guys initially broke in, because we're saying, oh, you got Bieber, oh, you got Tristan McKenzie, and you got Bybee and Gavin Williams. They're going to run the Central. Not the case. Cal Stevens in the fold now. How does Gavin Williams and this kind of outing change your long-term perspective on Cleveland? Does it?
I think his season as a whole, just and the way that he's finished, gives me a little bit more just optimism that they can reload this rotation up. And like Cal Steven will probably be up there at some point next year with the way he's throwing.
Yeah.
Bybee, is going to be better next year. They've got some guys through the minor leagues that I think can plug in. I mean, you even have some guys that could fill in and maybe exceed expectations, like a Parker Messick, who had another good outing in AAA the other day. I think it just gives me a little bit more calm knowing that they've got another guy that they can sharpie in instead of pencil in for next year, and Gavin Williams. And the way that he's finishing this year is, I think, really, really encouraging, given that they subtracted from the rotation a little bit, and some by choice, some by circumstance,
Yeah.
and now at least have two guys that they can sharpie in next year and feel really good about.
Last thing I have on Cleveland, and I say I hate being this guy, but I do this all the time. I bring up the worst part, so maybe I do enjoy being this person. But you mentioned some by circumstance. Would your perspective on the 25 and maybe even 26 Cleveland Guardians be changed if Luis Ortiz were in the fold? I'm not even accounting for Class A right now.
It would help for sure. I mean, because you at least know you got a back end guy. I will say Slade Ciccone as well.
Yeah,
You can probably sharpie him in as a solid, fringe three for you next year as well. I think he's more of a quality four. But yeah, like then at that point, you're like, okay, you may not have that clear cut ace, but you've got three, maybe four guys that you could feel decent about being able to pitch sub 4 ERA. And then
100%.
the Guardians are going to do their thing in the bullpen. So yeah, I would feel a lot better. It is a really tough blow. I think everyone's going to focus on Class A, but Ortiz is a guy that has the talent, and even in a year where it wasn't putting it all together and the command backed up a little bit, yeah, 4.3 ERAs eating innings don't really grow on trees.
No, at all. And we'll see what Gavin Williams can do. Luis Ortiz, we'll see what comes from that. But the Guardian rotation, it's looking a little bit better when you close your eyes and glimpse towards the future. And Gavin Williams is a humongous part of that. Again, he made it 8 1/3 no-hit before Soto took him deep on Wednesday. Before we get to Liam Hicks, I just want to do a quick weekend preview because we have some excellent pitching matchups coming up, and it starts tonight on Friday. How about this matchup between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers? Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw. What you got for that one?
Oh man, I got Scherzer just shoving. Man, he's been throwing the ball well
So
overall.
is Kershaw. He's got a 3-2.
Which is insane. That is we probably won't get that ever again, right? So that's a special pitching matchup there. But I love what I've seen from Scherzer. He's giving up the long ball a little bit, but Scherzer back at even just 94 miles an hour,
Yeah.
grabbing fives. It brings me joy. But it also is so cool seeing Kershaw just continue to pad those career stats.
100%. Astros Yankees tonight at 7:05. Cam Schlittler gets ball for New York against Hunter Brown for Houston. They pushed Hunter Brown 2 days. He's got 2 additional days rest. He was supposed to start Wednesday. He now throws Friday in New York. Schlittler is throwing the ball very well. He's got some juice in
He's
that
good,
arm, but
man.
Brown's one of the best in baseball.
Yeah, this is not a good time for that Yankees offense to be seeing him. I know they squeezed out a win in Texas, but
Felt like they won the Fall Classic. Like it was crazy to hear the calls there.
yeah, it's definitely a tough one for them. I think, and the Astros are playing good ball. You just saw it up close and personal for 3 games. I mean, the Marlins salvaged the last game of the series there, but I didn't even think the Marlins played poorly. I just thought the Astros played really well in that series. They're a good baseball team. You got Hunter Brown on the mound with that bullpen. It's going to be hard to score.
Tonight at 7:10, Tigers hosting the Angels. Tarek Skubal, how many punch outs against the Angels?
10.
Okay, I was going to say 11, but 10 feels a little bit better. Christopher Sanchez, Merrill Kelly, and Arlington. Phillies Rangers tonight at 8:05.
The Rangers aren't lighting things up offensively either. And I think Christopher Sanchez still somehow is not getting enough attention as I think at this present moment is the most dominant arm in the game every time he's throwing right now over the last
Really,
month or so. Every time he goes out there, dude, it feels like he's a threat for a complete game.
I can get
It's
behind that.
insane.
I
He's
can get
just
behind that.
absolutely carving through lineups and there's nothing they can do about it. And Merrill's been great, but like you look at other than one outing where he gave up 4 earned runs, Christopher Sanchez, I think like 6 of his last 7 outings have been seven innings of like 1 run ball or less.
Changeup, man. And I heard Skubal talking about Christopher Sanchez's changeup. He said metrically it's just a better pitch than Skubal's. Now,
Wow.
Skubal's is probably a little bit better because he throws 102.
Because he throws 100. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it like tunnels off of that. But Sanchez, like Skubal is kind of jealous of Christopher Sanchez's changeup, and that's just a crazy world that we live in here. Next game we got to talk about. I'm just asking you for a total runs scored in this ball game. Noah Cameron in Kansas City against Joe Ryan and the Twins in Minnesota.
Oh man. Well, Luke Keeschall is back, so
Oh,
I'm gonna bump that up by a half run. I'm gonna say 5 total though.
okay. Mets Brewers tonight at 8:10. Kodai Senga and his 2.3 ERA against Brandon Woodruff and his 2.2.
Oof. That's another offense. And Mets has just been weird right now. I'll go 7 total runs in that one.
Okay. And then pick a winner here in Seattle. Rays Mariners. Luis Castillo against Drew Rasmussen.
Man, that's a fun matchup too.
Yeah.
I'll go. Caminero is dialed right now. I'll go Rays in that one.
Okay. I'm in. Couple more to throw at you. Lazardo DeGrom in Phillies Rangers on Saturday at 7:15. Who you got?
I think the Rangers drop the first one because they get Christopher Sanchez, and then I think they bounce back because I think they're going to scrap around. They have it's a big stretch for them. I think DeGrom puts them on their back.
Battle of former White Sox and former teammates Lucas Giolito and the Red Sox in San Diego taking on Dylan Cease and the Padres on Saturday.
Giolito's shoving, man, and
Shoving.
it's been amazing. He's got like a 2 ERA over his last 10, and then you put him in San Diego where it's harder to produce offense. And Cease has a 4.6 somehow. I'll go Sox. They're red hot, man. Aside from the one loss yesterday.
Okay. Two more that I got to throw at you. Number one, 135 on Sunday. Astros Yankees in New York. Max Fried against Framber Valdez.
Oh, I think that's going to be the fastest game ever. But
Maybe.
give me. I think the Yankees are going to keep faltering a little bit. Give me the Astros in that one too.
Okay. How about Mackenzie Gore, Justin Verlander in San Francisco, 405 on Sunday. Gore at a 4.29 ERA. Verlander at a 4.29 ERA.
That's disgusting. That you shouldn't have told me that.
Yeah, a couple of different ways to get to a
Yeah,
4.29.
Verlander's been throwing well, man. I think it's like one earned run over his last 15 innings. Give me the Giants and Verlander riding a hot streak versus Gore. That ERA is rising.
All right, last one we got to talk about. Blue Jays Dodgers at 4:10 on Sunday. Yoshinobu Yamamoto against Eric Lauer, both guys in the 2.5s.
That's also disgusting.
Crazy.
There's no way. I think the Dodgers start to heat up a little bit here, and Lauer has a come down to earth moment here.
I love it. Okay, that's our weekend preview. That's some Gavin Williams chat. And now we welcome on the Marlins Rule 5 pick this year. Here's Liam Hicks. Marlins catcher slash DH slash first baseman Liam Hicks joins the program here. Liam, before we get going on our line of questioning, I've got a bone to pick because we sat down with you, myself and Steven Strom, for the Marlins podcast. And at the end, Steven asked you for nicknames for us because we find the baseball nicknames to be absolutely hilarious. Like Hicks is just Hicksy, and Nick Fortes at the time was 40, and Ryan Weathers is Wethy. So it's like, oh, well. And Liam said my nickname would be Mulsey. Aram, is that the worst nickname you've ever heard in your life?
Yeah, that's bottom five.
It's
That's bottom
horrible.
five.
I Wethy's kind of up there too because it's like it's Weathers. Like I feel
Wethy's
like
worse.
there's a
Wethy's worse.
there's a better place to go. But Liam, how you doing, man? You good?
I'm good, man. Yeah, maybe by the end of this we can get you a new one.
We'll try. I want to start at honestly the very beginning of your Marlins tenure. How much did you know about the Rule 5 draft when the Marlins took you?
I knew a little bit about it just because had Justin Slayton. I was teammates with him the year before, and he got picked by the Red Sox. So I was like familiar with it, knew what it was, but it really wasn't on my radar.
I was going to ask you that because there's so many players that are Rule 5 eligible. And honestly, like I try to do a preview every single year and I'll always miss maybe like a third of the guys, maybe more, that end up getting taken just because, again, there's so many to pick from. But especially on the bat side, sometimes you don't see any bats really taken or just one or two. I, were you just shocked? Like, where did that kind of come from? Did your agent or anybody tell you, hey, you might have a chance to get selected in this thing? Or did it just kind of come out of nowhere? Because it's kind of a unique way to, I guess it's not an official call up, but knowing that, like, you're going to be with the big league team.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, like I knew that bats weren't taken that often, and I also knew that catchers were even like less uh, common. I think the last one was like I don't even know. I think Luis Torrens was like the last one, but so yeah, well, wasn't really on my radar. But getting up closer to like the time of the draft, I started to see like a few like articles. Like MLB Pipeline had an article, and I was like mentioned on it as a name. So I was like, oh, like maybe it's possible. Like I obviously didn't want to get my hopes up or anything, so I didn't really think too much of it. Um, and then I think it was the night before the draft, my manager from Frisco texted me and he was like, dude, I've got a few like teams that have called me in the last couple days, like asking about you, like I'm like hoping for good things for you or something. So I was like, okay, I guess it's something to do with that. So I was like, okay, maybe. So like my hopes were a little higher, but still like obviously didn't want didn't want to get him up. And then, yeah, it happened, and I was super excited.
What did the Marlins tell you they liked about you when they took you?
Yeah, the crazy thing is I really didn't talk to them too much after that. It was more like in spring training, getting to know them. I think they didn't want me to like put too much pressure on myself and like think like when they told me what they like, oh, I gotta do this. It was more like they're looking at the track record. Obviously, I think I had a conversation with Cap um, in spring, and he was kind of like, "What do you think?" Which is kind of how he's kind of wired. But he's like, "What do you think we like about you?" And I was like, I mean, I walk a lot. Like, I don't swing and miss that much. I put the ball in play." He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's kind of what it was. I think they see my approach at the plate, uh, and then also developing behind the plate. I think just have the ability to be a good catcher eventually, and yeah.
The leap from double A straight to the show is an interesting component as well, right? Because, again, sometimes with arms, it makes a little bit more sense, or it's just an easier shot to take. 'Cause it's like, okay, this guy is throwing 100 miles an hour with a nasty slider in double A. You're going to plug that into the bigs. If he executes, it's going to play. But for a catcher that hadn't played above double A yet, like, was there a little bit of a voice in the back of your head, like, holy crap, I'm making a huge leap here. Like, I didn't even get to get my feet wet in triple A, or yeah, what was your thought process there? Just skipping an entire level and going straight to the show?
Maybe a little bit, but it was also like a ton of excitement too. I'm like, it's kind of like a good situation. Like they're taking me for a reason is kind of what I was thinking. Like they see something. I had a really good off season, got there early, so I got like really familiar with kind of the coaching staff there, and got a little more comfortable. And then yeah, I think I knew the hitting would be all right. Like I think I in my career I've always kind of like figured it out at the plate, just like as time went on. But definitely catching. Like I knew like there's a ton of responsibility being a big league catcher, so I knew the jump from the arms in Double A would be a little bit bigger to the ones in the big leagues. So um, I wouldn't say there was like a voice in my head saying like it's not going to be possible, but it was more excitement. Like you gotta take advantage of this opportunity. Like you got to do everything you can to be ready.
Did you have an at bat, maybe spring training or the first couple days of the season, where it was like, oh crap moment, I'm in the show. This guy is better than anybody that I've ever seen?
That's tough. I think I don't know if there's exactly like an oh crap moment, but it's more like every single day. It's like, oh, you're not getting a day off. You're not facing anyone that's like that stuff can't beat you. If they're on, they're gonna beat you. So it's I'd say it's more of that. There were obviously some times in spring training, definitely where I was kind of going through things, kind of realized like if you're thinking about mechanics, if you're trying to think about your own swing and compete with these pitchers, like it's not going to work out well. So I kind of gave me a better mindset going into the season. Like you got to be externally focused. You can't be thinking about your mechanics and maybe stuff that you've thought of in the past because they're going to expose you here.
On the defensive side, you mentioned just continuing to get better there and the responsibility that comes with being a big league catcher. What have those kind of responsibilities been? And for the average listener, like I think they look at Baseball Savant, and I think even we're guilty of this sometimes. Okay, blocking, receiving, framing, and how many guys you're throwing out. But what's been like the biggest leap for you and just the biggest focus, just getting to big league camp and working with big league rotation to make sure that you can meet the standards of an MLB catcher.
Yeah, like you said, obviously like blocking, catching, receiving, like throwing, those are like huge. We're gonna work on those every single day. So I'd say, yeah, number one receiving, like that's the biggest thing. Like it's you can work on it all you want off the machine, and I had been working on it like my whole career off the machine, but they really did some things here with some like higher velo, kind of put you in a tough environment to catch, kind of make the game a little bit easier, which definitely helped. And then yeah, like you said, there's so many things that you can't quantify, like just having the trust in the pitchers. That was definitely something that I kind of maybe struggled with in spring training. Like calling a game, it not going your way, and then thinking back, like, dang, like I hope this pitcher still has trust in me. I don't want him. It's his ERA that's getting hurt right now. I want to make sure that I'm totally prepared. So yeah, it's a ton of that, like learning the pitchers, being comfortable. Now we're so far into the season, like a guy comes on the mound, I have a really good idea of exactly what he wants to do. We'll go through like a scouting report of the other team. So I'd say there's a ton of pitcher catcher relationship that you need to know, especially knowing your guys. Like, Tyler Phillips, I can get on him. I'm gonna like kind of try and fire him up on the mound, and
Now, I
then
was
there
to say,
might
do you need
be
to slap him in the face sometimes, or he takes care of that himself?
he takes care of it himself. But yeah, sometimes
Dude.
you need another one. And then there's other guys, maybe you're gonna need to baby a little bit more, like pump them up, tell them how great they are. So there's definitely that, and then also a ton of responsibility as far as like time management. Like we have a position player meeting every day, but then we're also gonna have a catcher meeting, like kind of like a catcher review session, and then we're also going to meet and talk about the starting pitcher and kind of how they're going to navigate the opposing team's lineup. So there's a ton of time management as well.
I want to get back to kind of the game planning aspect and how your day to day has changed. But before that, I want to shout out Joe Singley, who's the major league catching coach with the Marlins, because he got some pub during the College World Series. Caden Bodine, who was the catcher for Coastal Carolina, first round kid, Orioles, right? Baltimore took
Yeah.
Caden Bodine. So Joe Singley went to Coastal, works with Bodine, and Bodine is one of the best that I've ever seen to the
He's
naked
insane.
eye at pulling up the low strike, working from the ground up. And you work with that guy every single day, the one that taught him how to do that. What's the benefit of working from the ground up? Because we see guys do that all the time at the catching position now.
Yeah, well, yeah, shout out to Joe for sure. I mean, I got there in January, and I was down in Jupiter, just like living there for just for the off season, and he flew down on his own time and took the time to work with me and Nick like every day. So, I
Wow.
mean, shout out to him. He works so hard. It's pretty insane how dedicated he is to his job and to his craft. Um, and then yeah, the pitches are just too nasty to not work from the ground up. You're calling a breaking ball. If you're starting in the strike zone, that Calvin Faucher's 86-mile-an-hour curveball that's going to drop 18 inches is you're not going to be strong enough to keep that in the strike zone. You got to use some type of like force going the other way to kind of counterbalance that drop. Um, so it's really like beating the ball to the spot. It's huge, and I mean a lot of the guys. If you look at the best receivers in baseball, it's all at the bottom of the zone. So that's kind of where we're focusing the most. It's kind of where they've found that it helps the most in terms of called strikes. So that's kind of it.
How is it kind of receiving from like Yuri Perez when he just hands you the ball? Like, what was that experience like? Because I feel like that's a really interesting component too, where I imagine you haven't had a ton of experience catching from a guy as tall and long as Yuri and throws as hard as he does with the stuff that he has.
Yeah, exactly. He's a guy. A ton of our pitchers were going to be middle and kind of just emphasize getting in the strike zone because your stuff is so nasty, and he's just like the epitome of that. You just need to, if he's in the zone, it's going to be really hard to hit him. And yeah, I haven't caught many pitchers that are as gifted as him. It's pretty crazy, and it's pretty funny to hear guys on the other team when I'm playing first or after games the next day talking about him and just how crazy the extension is. Literally says he looks like he's thrown from 50 feet away. So, but yeah, he's awesome. He's just getting better.
So we asked Griffin Conine this a couple weeks ago, and you can look at the specs all you want. You look at the results against Yuri's four seamer, and by run value, in terms of run value per 100 pitches, like it's like the NBA, the per 36 stat. You just extrapolate. This guy, since coming off the shelf, working his way back from Tommy John surgery, has the best four seam fastball in Major League Baseball by run value. So I want to ask you, as somebody that catches it and somebody that sees it, several times a week, whether it's in a bullpen session or in game. Is it the best four seam fastball in baseball?
There's a good chance. I think there's probably just off the top of my head, there's a few others like Joe Ryan, probably for example, probably has a really good one. Wheeler, I'm sure, like with that low release. But yeah, Uri's is definitely special. I think just have house, he's got that slow kind of deliberate windup, and then out of nowhere, he's 7+ feet of extension, great, 100 miles an hour. So it's pretty crazy, and I'd say it's only going to get better, really, with because I think his off speed stuff is still kind of developing. The fastball is probably a little bit ahead of that. So I think as he works his way back from TJ, like you said, once he gets the off speed even tougher, even harder, I think the four team's just going to get better.
The team's been playing just insanely well. I mean, what this is the first series. You end up still having a great third game and salvaging it. But was that the Jack would know this first series they've lost in how long against the
Oh,
Astros?
I mean, last 12 series, I think there's 8-1 or last 11 series are like 9-1-1 or
Yeah,
something like that.
point stands. It's been an insane stretch for you guys, and like you call back to like kind of arbitrary June dates to just pull ridiculous records and numbers, whatever it may be. But
I'll throw you a non-arbitrary June date. June 3rd, you guys get swept by the Colorado
there you go.
Rockies. Like, okay, you get swept at home by Colorado, and things changed after that. You go to Tampa. Your manager, Clayton McCullough, has like said that was the time where it feels like things just shifted a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough to really like think about a moment of things changing, or like, oh, we changed practice after this, or we completely changed our mindset. So it's tough to say that, but I definitely think that might have been a little bit of a wake up call. You know, kind of them coming in here maybe took them lightly. I don't know, maybe weren't completely focused on that. Um, but I think that kind of emphasized like you need to take every day for what it is, one day at a time. Just focus on that game. Don't get ahead of yourself. And I feel like that's what this group has done so well this year, or lately especially, is it's just kind of one at bat at a time, one inning at a time. If we get down, we know we can come back. So it's pretty that makes it pretty exciting.
So the shift is amazing though now because it really does. It's palpable even from our couch or from the stands at the game where it, you guys don't feel like you're out of a ball game and been watching the Marlins for a few years here now and especially like it's just been really tough to get back into games a lot of times with these offenses and like you guys just string together these good at bats, but it's not only that. The pitching side of things as well. You can stop the bleeding. If you get back into it, you know that they're going to be able to put up zeros. And a lot of the times, you know that if you score 4 runs, you got a good chance to win because of your starters. But that wasn't the recipe early in the season. It was a little bit of it was a hot start and then kind of slowed down. And then now it just feels like you guys are clicking on all cylinders and look like just a really good baseball team. I'm not gonna ask it in terms of like you guys probably always knew this was in there, but when did you really start believing it? Like when did you really feel like, hey, we can compete with anybody, and I mean we want to make a run at this wild card. Like I feel like now that's even being brought up now, and I'm sure you guys were thinking about it, but I don't know if anybody was really taking that seriously. Like when did you guys have that moment of like feeling like, hey, we can make a run here and we can beat anybody?
Yeah, I think it might have been that last that road trip where we went to the West Coast and beat San Fran, and then in like some really close games, like some kind of like close games and tension filled games with like them throwing at some of our guys and like some big homers after that, and then going to Arizona, I think sweeping them. I think after that road trip, we kind of got a little bit of swagger, like a little kind of confidence. And yeah, I think it's just you play in these close games. I think early in the season, we'd play in these close games and we wouldn't come out on top. And then you don't really truly believe in yourself until you do it. And I think lately, or in that June month, we kind of played in these close games where we got down, kind of came back and kind of taught ourselves like it's possible. We can do that. Like we can come back. There's not that oh no moment. Here we go again. We're blowing this. It's kind of like it doesn't matter if we get down in the ninth. We're still gonna put up a fight. So I think it's that. I think you got to do it, and then it gives your team the confidence to know that you can come back.
week ago today, you guys won the game of the year, and Aram, you called it the best Marlins win since when? That 13-12 win over New York.
I mean, I know people can talk about like the playoffs a couple years ago or whatever, but it felt like 09 to me. Like the last Marlins team that just was young, scrappy, and kind of made this run at the wild card. If it was expanded playoffs, they would have made it, by the way. But it felt like the best win since 09 to me.
I mean, like being a part of that game, and you had a huge part of that. Pinch hit 2 run single. Shout out Liam Hicks. But I mean, being a part of that emotional roller coaster, did that give you guys a sense of if we can win this game, we can win literally any other baseball game we play?
Exactly. I think that's exactly it. I mean, we're already down like three separate times, three separate times, and we were up, and then we blew it, and then came back again. So I think that's just kind of the epitome of like what the team is. You need to be down. And you need to come back to kind of teach yourself that it's possible. But I feel like there's just no panic with the team. Like say we lose that game, no one's gonna hold their head down. Like they're gonna come to the park the next day and be the exact same guy. That's how it was with that Houston series. We lose the first couple, and no one's getting down on themselves. We're not all, oh, now we can't make the wild card or whatever. It's just like, all right, next game we're gonna go out and win.
Te- Team identity is really fun to watch right now with you guys, and it's funny. Like every single opposing broadcaster that I talk to, they use the word scrappy or frisky. Like there's always some sort of adjective like that. The one that I've recently started using is annoying, but like in a good way. Like you guys push Freddie Peralta to 100 pitches through 5 innings, and then the next day you push Quintana to 100 pitches through 5 innings, and then the next day it was like Woodruff was at 100 pitches in a 5 1/3. You keep doing that to starting pitchers. As a team, do you guys feel like scrappy? Is that something you want to pride yourselves on?
Yeah, definitely. I think a scrappy team is like a team that has kind of an approach as a team. We take pride. We have our hitters meetings. We kind of have a plan of what we're going to do to that pitcher, and the hitting coaches kind of give us a good blueprint. So I think if we're following that, it's going to be annoying for that opposing pitcher. And I definitely think, yeah, I definitely think we take pride in that. It's cool kind of coming to teams that don't know the team at all. Like you're like, who are these names in this lineup? And it's kind of cool to kind of show them how scrappy, gritty, whatever, annoying we are. It's really cool.
Is it, the pregame work? I'm always going to touch on this because I think it's so fascinating because it's so different than what it was with the Marlins in the past, and I think what a lot of other teams do on the hitting side. I mean, it's like I guess the goal is that the toughest reps are before the game. How much has that helped you guys? Because I think what stands out to me when I'm watching is in kind of piggybacking off of what Jack was saying is everybody seems to control their ABs really well. Everyone seems to have a really good plan. The swing decisions are consistently good, and it's just consistently good at bats. Even if you guys aren't stringing together a ton of runs, you're making them work. Is that the pregame work that you guys are getting off the machine, where like each game you feel like you're not getting the toughest reps in the game, and is it more the preparation in terms of the info you're getting? Like, what has the pregame work been like, and how long did it take to kind of buy into no tees, machine work, super intense? You are not going to get a good feel going into the game. There's no feel good swings.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd say it starts with kind of the plan. I'd say it starts with that. The hitting coaches do like a really good job of kind of giving us a scattering report of the eye, but also not making it too complicated. You don't want to be up there thinking about all five of his pitches. They're going to give you kind of one thing to go with, a couple like key points to take away about the guy, like low slot, he's got extension, be on top of the heat or something like that. And then yeah, like you said, I think coming into the season, I was very like apprehensive about that. I like doing like my routine. I like feeling good. I like doing flips, some RMBP. And then halfway through the year, I kind of realized I can't be doing that. Like I can't just be feeling good. It was kind of to the point where I wasn't playing as much. I was kind of just playing maybe once a series, once every 2 series or whatever. And I was like, okay, I need to get. They talked with me and they're like, you need to get better off the like you need to get better in the cage. You need to, if I wanted to feel like even if I didn't play that game, I got better.
Mhm.
So that was kind of the big thing. It's like, and then I started doing that, started playing really well, and I was like, okay, I need to just only do this. So now it's like no flips. We're gonna go max velo machine before the game. Screw feeling good. Like you need to compete, and I think a lot of guys have embraced that.
Yeah, it's really cool to watch you guys blossom, and it's been so cool to watch you as an individual blossom this year. And I think I gave you a knuckle bump after that homer against the Dodgers that was off the bat at what 108 or 108.5, something like that.
Yeah.
You killed that baseball. Was that in the tank before this? Like you've really unlocked. It feels like a next level of hard hit baseballs from you. Like where has that work come from?
Yeah, I think that's my max career bullet. um, but yeah, I think it's training. Like that's what we talked about. We kind of had a meeting, and they were like, "You need to get stronger. Like you need to start swinging the bat faster." Obviously, so I'm working on that all the time. But then it's in training, like training high velo heaters, get on top of them and pull. Like just trying to learn to pull the baseball better
Hmm.
is the main thing. Like take my A swing because I had always been told to swing harder, try and do more damage, but I was never really training it in practice in the cage. So I
Because you
never
probably weren't trying to lose what you were awesome at. Like you didn't swing and miss at all.
exactly. I think in the back of my mind, I'm like apprehensive to swing and miss. I don't want to be fooled and swing and miss. So, but they've really encouraged like, dude, we don't care if you swing and miss early in the count. You're with 2 strikes, the chances of you putting the ball in play are higher than the average player. So like we don't care. Take your shot earlier in the count. It's okay if you swing and miss, but like we want you to try and do some more damage. So that was really cool, like working with the coaches, working like hearing their thoughts on it. Just trying to work on learning how to do that.
The crazy part though is your contact rate compared to double A last year is only 1% lower. So you're getting it off and it hasn't really come at the expense of your contact. Like, can you feel that? Did you even know that by chance?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know that. I think naturally I have the ability to make contact, so training, swinging harder, it really isn't gonna change it too much. It's weird. I don't know why but I don't know. I still need to learn how to hit the ball harder.
Well, it's been working so far. I mean, again, like the doubles and being able to drive in runs and the bat to ball side of things is really what has stood out to me. I had to ask you one thing though about the first time I saw you play was in the Arizona Fall League. That would have been what 2023. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I think you hit like 450 out there.
yeah.
Um, uh, what was that like for you being out there, like being the guy that's like one of the better bat to ball guys in the minor leagues? You get to go out to a place where the pitchers are probably not as good as what you were facing. The ball, flies. You got more space out there. Was that the most like fun you've had in the batter's box? Like, it felt like when I was watching it, you were back in college, just better than everybody on the field.
Yeah, I definitely had a ton of confidence out there. It was crazy. It was feeling really good. Some luck there too, everything just happening to fall. But then yeah, like a ton of confidence too. Just swing felt really good. Uh it's crazy. I mean, a lot of baseball players know like being in that like locked in moment where you just know you're gonna put the ball where the fielders aren't. It's a really cool feeling.
The statistics, by the way, 450, 553, 522 slash line, 16 walks, 8 strikeouts, and 85 plate appearances.
Come on, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was pretty awesome.
What was the OBP in 85 plate appearances?
553.
Come on, dude, that's awesome. Liam, last one from me. Is there anybody that you are just in awe of in terms of their cage work among your teammates? Like, obviously, we've seen Stowers blow up this year. Augustine, we've heard plenty of stories about that guy and just how much of a freak he is offensively, and everybody loves the helicopter finish. It is, it could be one of those guys, could be somebody else. Who do you look at and say, I can't believe you can do this to that level?
That's tough. Um, Stowers is really unique because his his routine is just so locked in. I think what separates him is just kind of his mindset. He's going to do the exact same routine every day, but then he'll like change some things if he needs to, as far as like what he's feeling in the game. Uh, it's pretty crazy how effortless his juice is. I didn't realize how much juice he had. He's not like the biggest guy ever, and he is hitting the ball so hard consistently. So that's definitely some crazy. And he's putting himself in like tough situations, like you guys said. Like he'll go he knows he had to work on heaters at the top of the zone, and that's like just pounds that. X is a guy that is a little different. He's gonna have his own routine, but it's just gonna be like a machine. Like it's gonna be line drives the other way, like automatic, whenever he wants from both sides of the plate. So it's it's crazy seeing kind of how different guys' routines are, but how like good they are mentally as far as like knowing what they need, and just going out there and taking it into the game.
Last one from me is working with the pitching staff. Obviously, we've seen yeah Edward Cabrera have this breakout year. We talked about Yuri. It could be a reliever. Could be a starter. Uh, who's somebody that just you think deserves a little bit more love or is on the cusp of becoming like a more well respected arm? Because the Marlins clearly have done a really good job of identifying guys in the bullpen. Just finding players that were undervalued elsewhere. Who's someone that you think just deserves more love that has just crazy stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Mulsey asked me the same question, and I gave Calvin Fauché. I think he's got unreal stuff. When he's in the zone, he can be absolutely disgusting. Uh, Ronnie Henriquez too. I mean, I know he's got a little bit more love now, but what he's doing this year is just insane. I think he's got like a 32% strikeout rate. He's thrown like 55 innings. I mean, it's pretty mind blowing how good his stuff is. And then another guy, Lake Bacher too. Like he's kind of come out of nowhere. I don't think any I don't think guys on other teams are prepared for his stuff. I mean, against the Yankees, he's going 93-mile-an-hour sliders, 97 with the heater, 86-mile-an-hour splitter, and he's got a sweeper too. Especially for someone, he got sent down to try and get back. Like he wasn't in the zone as much as they wanted him to. He got sent down when we were on that West Coast trip, and he came back, and he's just been a high leverage arm that you can really count on.
I think it's a sub 1 ERA since he's come back from AAA. Liam Hicks, I was going to say thank you so much. This was great, but because you called me Mulsey another
Yeah,
time, this was
I
terrible.
guess we're
Man.
stuck with Mosey.
This is crazy.
Didn't have
Liam,
time to go over a new one.
Liam, man, appreciate you. This was awesome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, awesome chatting with Liam Hicks of the Miami Marlins. That guy, he's fun, man. Like he's got that Canadian Ontario feel where he's always smiling, and he has been like so fun to watch hit this year. Were you expecting like this possible outcome from a Rule 5 catcher?
No, not at all. And it's funny because as we talked about, like I watched Liam Hicks literally be Tony Gwynn in the Arizona Fall League, like quite literally. But I figured he'd get up and he wasn't going to be overmatched. That for sure. You knew he was going to put bat on ball. But as you know, like the contact oriented guys, it's a quality of contact league now. It's hard to get away with that, but he's improved the quality of contact. He's controlling his AB so well. It's like an 18% chase rate. And then, as we mentioned, like he's swinging harder, but he's still making contact at the same clip he was in Double A. Like that says a lot about his hitting ability. And another impressive find by by Bendix and Co. But I will say, on top of that, it's not just the scouting find. It's the person that you're adding to the fold because if Liam Hicks didn't put the work in spring training and get there early and do all the little things, probably wouldn't have made this leap that he has made. So it's a lot of credit to Hicks as well. And I mean, how big has he been for the Marlins? And I mean, the fact that a rookie and two rookies, but a rookie and a Rule 5 draft pick, could make one of the other Marlins catchers expendable that quickly, I think says a lot about what they were able to show already.
100%. And something Peter Bendix has really preached is people. Like, he wants to bring in a high quality of person too, and that's kind of something that he has taken from Tampa. And we talk about Tampa being as analytically oriented as any franchise in baseball. They're also people oriented, and they hunt data points, but they also hunt people that are willing to put in the work and grind, and that's what's happening with the Miami Marlins, and it's been really fun to watch. Liam will, in all likelihood, be in the lineup on Saturday, August 23rd against the Toronto Blue Jays. And something fun is happening there. It's just baseball day at Lone Depot Park. We've got a section. The link is in our episode description to purchase tickets. But walk us through all the perks.
Well, you get what? The first
I can. I'm going to test you.
The first 50 people, I don't have it in front of me. So the first 50 people who buy a ticket get a free Marlins hat. That's correct. Then if you buy tickets, you get, and the earlier bet the better, because we have to figure out who's going to get these BP passes pretty quickly. You have a chance to win a BP pass before the game. We have 4 of those being given away. And if you don't win the BP pass, you also have a chance to win a tour of the stadium. We have 4 of those being given away. And then an homage discount card for really sweet apparel. They've got the Miggy Pudge Rodriguez shirt. That's one of my favorites. It's super soft. You can put the discount card towards that. And what am I missing?
Whole bunch of just baseball merch.
Oh yeah, that stuff too. Yeah,
that stuff too. And booth visits. 4
people. Yeah, we're giving away booth visits.
Booth. Yep, 4 people get to go to the home TV booth. In all likelihood, meet Craig Minervini and Tommy Hutton that day. And then 8 people will come to the home radio booth and get to see the perch in which I sit at for 81 games a year. So pregame booth visits, ballpark tour earlier that day, and then on-field batting practice experience for 4 as well. So these are all kind of opportunities, and it's best to get in early for the ballpark tour and the BP passes. That'll give you the highest likelihood of getting that opportunity. But, if you don't get any of that, you will get some Just Baseball merch, an homage discount code. If you are among the first 50 purchasers, to your point, you get a free Marlins hat, and you get to hang out with Aram, you get to hang out with Peter and a couple other Just Baseball folk, and just watch a ball game between the Marlins and right now one of the best teams in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, and we probably have some more things up our sleeve. Yeah, we might give away some signed stuff or whatever. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think if we might have a nice little section potentially if we get enough people coming in here. So very pumped about that. Would love to see you all out there, and let us know if you have any questions.
100%. Link is in our episode description. It's just under $30 for this opportunity, which is really cool.
100%, especially with the way the team's playing right now. Last thing for you, what are your thoughts? Because I was prepared to use it for my last word with you, but coincidentally, Peter put me on the spot and said, I'm about to move to Chicago. You've been there for a week. What's pissing you off? And of course, I had something dialed up immediately. I did not expect that question, though.
I saw it.
You saw it. What are your thoughts? And it was Malort, by the way. It is the battery acid mixed with urine that people brand as a drink.
Yes, those are my thoughts on Malort, the alcoholic beverage that is a Chicago staple.
Yeah.
Battery acid mixed with urine. I think it just tastes like bug spray. I think it's if you instead of breath spray, you just shot a little Raid into your mouth. I think that's what Malort tastes like. I've done it twice, I want to say, and it's just kind of a party trick to do it and not pucker your lips. It's probably the worst thing I've ever put in my system, but the reason I make people when they visit Chicago try Malort is because I love watching them experience it. It's a rite of passage. It's like when something smells like shit and you say, oh, smell this. It smells terrible. And then people still smell it. You know what I mean? If you give me the forewarning that something smells like shit, I don't want to smell it. But the people that do, Malort's for those people.
I typically say no because I don't enjoy things that aren't bad. And
Had
then
you ever done it before?
I had a little baby sip of one, and that was all I needed to know. Like, what is wormwood? It's a
I don't
wormwood
know.
based liqueur. That's all I need to see. Wormwood based. I'm good. I don't
I have
get it.
no idea what it is. Wormwood. Apparently, there are benefits. Wormwood looks like a
The bitterness
species
of
of.
Malort is known to linger, making it a memorable experience for many. Yet
Certainly
memorable and
is memorable.
trauma, if you have a Venn diagram, memorable and trauma do overlap. Memorable is not always good.
Okay, you know what makes a lot of sense now? Wormwood contains active ingredients that may improve digestive problems, ease pain and inflammation, and treat bacterial and fungal infections. It absolutely tasted like something that was killing any bacteria or fungus that was in my system. It feels like you're wringing a Clorox wipe into your mouth.
I think
That's what
next
Malort tastes like.
next bet that we make on this podcast, a loser should have to have a couple Malort drinks.
That's fine.
No
Yeah, no,
mixer.
like a heavy pour, like
Like a
like a
Malort
double
on the
pour of
rocks.
Malort.
Malort, you got to
Yeah, and you gotta like taste
go
it.
go to your local watering hole and order Malort on the rocks.
Double Malort on the
Double
rocks. I'm in.
Malort on the rocks. Big rock.
Big rock. That'd be great. All right, that's our program. Again, every link you need, including the link to buy tickets for Just Baseball Day at Lone Depot Park on Saturday, August 23rd, is in our episode description. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.